What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the Vicktory Life Legacy Podcast. I'm your host, Dwight Vick, owner and founder of Vicktory Life. Um, really glad to be back. It's been a long time since I actually recorded an episode. Normally, I have my co-host with me, Danny Noakes. Me and him are still good to go. We're still friends. We're still brothers. He still hosts his show with me. And of course, this fall, we return with another season of the Vic 757 show, talking all things tech. But I thought I'd get in a quick episode. It's been a few months since I recorded one. I believe the last one I did was the Virginia Tech track girls, highlighting their legacy and being pioneers and elevating the Virginia Tech track program. Just a reminder, I want everybody, before I bring on my first guest, to make sure they to subscribe, like, follow, share every episode we have. We have had some great guests. I started this thing in 2020 and really excited about the growth of Vicktory Life Youth Sports, which is my 501c3. Really excited about all the people who have continued to jump on and be part of the Vicktory Life movement, including not just the guests, but people that, rock our hoodies, our shirts, our sweats, that continue to share the video, that subscribe to our channel, that also let people know about our movement in regards to mental health and wellness. Really excited about what we do with helping our community and making sure that people are getting better and that, we're led by the future of our young people, which you guys know Vic loves the kids. So today I have two phenomenal guests jumping on, two young men that I've known since they were little, not so little anymore. These are young men, both athletes, both here from Northern Virginia. I'll get into my first guest when I bring him on, but normally we do the legacy podcast shout outs at the end of the show. And, it's June, and it made me think about who I wanted to shout out this particular episode. We've shouted out teachers, cancer survivors, musicians, anybody, can be anybody, can be part of a cleaning crew, construction worker, it could be an engineer. It's all about highlighting the legacies while people are here in the physical, or even if they've been gone too soon. We want to make sure we shout out people. Danny and I normally do that. This particular person is very close to me, and I was thinking about her as I've been at all the various schools. As you know, Vicktory Life is contracted with Unity Reed High School, Osbourn High School. We do a lot of work with Patriot. We do work with schools in Fairfax County. And just checking out everybody, looking at all the stuff going on. You see, if you're on Facebook, Instagram, or if you're on Twitter, you see all the pictures. A lot of graduations occurring now. It's a great time seeing all the pictures and seeing all the phenomenal families and students who've overcome so much. I know about the long days, long nights, and early mornings. But in this particular case, I wanted to shout out my daughter, my oldest child, my firstborn, my oldest daughter, Sydney Vick. She's the legacy shout out I wanted to give. I just wanted to take a moment, and shout her out. She just finished her first year at ODU, and she killed it in a good way. She got a, hold on, guys. Sorry, make sure that's off. She got a 3.75 GPA. She made the dean's list. Just a phenomenal first year. I don't even think I knew who the Virginia Tech dean was when I was in college. And I definitely didn't make the dean's list. I was a decent student, a few vitamin D's on the report card, C's and B's, but Sydney continues to amaze me, her mother, just everybody that comes across, meeting with her. She is the true epitome, being one of the princes of Vicktory Life, someone that is compassionate, outspoken. She has the courage to debate me and go at it with me and her mom, but not in a way where she's disrespectful, because she's outspoken. She's class personified. She makes me proud all the time. People laugh because when I found out I was going to be a father 19 years ago, everybody's like, I know you want a child, a healthy baby, but you want a boy, right? And I wanted a son, and I've been blessed with one. And I wanted a big family, which I have a good family. We got 3 kids together, but I wanted a girl first. Call me sentimental. It wasn't about like what it meant for what she was going to do for me. Just wanted a girl first. And Sydney's been everything I prayed for. Healthy, phenomenal, insightful, to get and do well like she did at ODU her freshman year. when she was at Unity Reed High School was great. So to do what she did in her freshman year, after having a great 4 years at Unity Reed High School, is phenomenal. She was a phenomenal athlete. She could have played volleyball in college. She played for VA Juniors, an elite club here in Northern Virginia. She did great doing that. She had a great run at Unity Reed. Even though the volleyball program wasn't great, she still shined and never gave up, never blamed her teammates or coaching. And even more importantly, her senior year, she played basketball. She probably could have played basketball as well. So athletically, mentally, she's doing great. And I just want to salute her with a legacy shout out. Make sure she knows she's not only loved, but we're proud of her. And I'm excited about her future. I spend so much time helping other kids, but my children make me proud, all three of them every day. But Sydney is just a phenomenal person. Um, she's got a great group of friends, and she's always thinking about how she can make the community and the world better. She's still just like the rest of y'all out here, these young people making TikToks and doing their thing and partying, but also enjoying life and making her community a better place. And more importantly, she's also thinking about her future and how she wants to really help and change things for the better. For those that are wondering, she's majoring in a field similar to mine. You guys know I'm big into mental health, doing the therapy thing, mentoring, but she is going to study sports psychology. So I'm excited about her. I tell her about, what she's stepping into, but by the time she gets licensed and gets everything going, the field will be wide open. I mean, it's already growing now. So many different ways you can help people. So I'm really excited about that. So shout out Legacy Spotlight, Legacy Podcast. Shout out to Sydney Vick. Really excited about her keeping, our name going, the legacy. So salute to her. So first guest jumping on, he'll be on here in a few minutes. I'll announce him when he logs on. I don't want to prematurely do it. Then we have, knock on wood, some difficulties. But this guy I've been trying to get on for a while, but our schedules couldn't match. So when he jumps on, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to talk about his high school and now college career. So can't wait to bring him on. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and I see my guys in here, so I'm going and bring them on. This is a very special, sentimental guest to me. Both my guests are today because I have, as you can see now, I have my guy Amare Campbell joining me. Unity Reed High School standout linebacker, one of the best at a high school, which has a lot of historic great players from Raymond G to Ryan Williams. So many guys, man. Chris Garrett, T1 Stevens, so many guys. And I didn't grow up here in Northern Virginia, but I've been living up here 20 years. So I know the history from living up here. And again, if I didn't name you, I'm sorry. My man, Greg Stroman, Tim Settle, guys I mentored. Greg and Timmy played on my 7-on-7 team. But this guy right here, joining us right now, we got UNC linebacker now. Amare Campbell joins the Vicktory Life Legacy Podcast. Amare, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Oh man, I'm great, man. We finally got this to happen. You look good as always, man. Listen, for those listening or watching, let me tell you something. Amare Campbell, when the Vicktory Life movement started, he was all in. Him and his dad, his mom, they rep Vicktory Life, man. So hopefully in the future, as this business continues to grow, you got that in-house stuff. So, and Amare continues to do his thing. You never know what the future holds. So I'm excited about having Amare on. This is a guy I coach. We're going to talk about his youth experiences, high school, and even what he's doing at UNC. But before we do that, Amare, you are home, which you really are now, because you enrolled in UNC early. What you got going on? You're home here in Northern Virginia, here in Prince William, Manassas. What you got going on?
Yeah, I'm actually not on break right now, so I just came back for grad. I've grad this Tuesday, so unfortunately I'm missing Monday and Tuesday workouts, but I'm gonna work out here at home to make up for it.
Yeah, let's make sure you do that.
Yeah.
And I know it is. I played eons ago in the 90s, so when you miss a workout or two, you got to make up for it. But before we talk about UNC, man, let's take it back, man. I've been very fortunate, man. I'm tight with your mom and dad. I coached you in football and basketball. Um, Everyone around here knew early on when you were a little young and you had a bright future on the football field. But even if you had chose basketball, I mean, you just always worked hard. But let's take it back, man. We know you now at a bunch of offers. You chose UNC. You had a great run at Unity Reed High School. But take it back, man. When you were growing up, you played for me, your mutiny, then we played for the Warriors, and you played for a lot of great coaches, a lot of guys that coached you. But when did you know when you were growing up, man? Like, I know your mom and dad are very supportive, but when did you know, like, okay, I have a future in this? Like, I can actually make this something I do for the rest of my life.
Yeah, so I say right around like I played grassroots, the Metro Virginia
Mhm.
thing. So, playing that and then doing great in that, playing tough teams like Maryland Heat, well respected around the area. I ended up getting MVP for a championship game, and then that led to me getting invited to the University of Maryland for an award ceremony thing. So seeing that really opened my eyes because like I that was my first experience ever like going to a college. So just figuring out that if I'm playing, I'm doing what I've been doing, and they invited me to colleges. So I'm thinking like I'm seeing all these other players. I can do the same thing.
Yeah. No, you have been, man. You were always great to coach, man. I remember coaching my first year with the Warriors. The first year the Warriors were in existence, man. Founder and owner Big Zach Terrell put that thing together, and you were on my team. You were at running back and linebacker. We had Trey Terrell. We had my son Isaiah Vick playing quarterback. Buddy, we had a very good team. Ended up going and winning the conference and losing the state to the Virginia Beach Cavaliers. But in that moment, even the year before our last year with the Mutiny, I knew you were special. But at the
Yeah.
same time, I enjoyed the fact that you never acted like you were special. Let's talk about your parents, with that being said, before we get
Yeah.
into the rest of your career, because knowing your dad and knowing your mom, I know your dad is always on you about pushing you and wanting you to be great and not make the same mistakes he made. And your mom is the same way, pushing you. Talk about your family and what they mean to your mom, dad, your siblings, and how they've been influential in your high school and now college career.
Yeah, I'd say from even when I was little, they always just put me in sports to get me to run around. They never really like pushed me too hard on it. They never were like it was always my choice. So like I always appreciated that because like they factored in how I felt, and I was always like, let's go, I want to do this, I want to do that. So they always bought in, like going, traveling a lot with Mutiny and Warriors. We went a lot of places like Virginia Beach, Tennessee, Maryland, every weekend and week out, and they always were. They never complained. They never like I didn't want to take you. They always brought me. So just them,
Yeah.
by yeah,
Well, talk about your dad for a second, because
yeah,
your dad, I'm his big OG, and
mhm,
your dad is funny, but people don't realize he's very competitive. Like
yep,
he coached you in basketball. Him and Trey's mom, Tabitha, you guys played for the Lakers. We knowing Tabitha, for those that don't know, she's a huge Lakers fan. But even in basketball, he coached you, and he coached you in football. Um, how was it playing for your dad? Football and but just youth sports. How was it, man? Like,
yeah.
and what was his influence when it came to you as far as becoming a complete player?
Yeah, so my dad was really a basketball guy, but he always had knowledge of both sports. So like
Yeah.
when it came to football, he didn't really know as much, so he would try to learn. He would learn stuff to try to teach me. He was you know the type of guy. People don't know the type of guy he is, but he's like hard driven, great work ethic. He taught me my work ethic. Like if nobody's gonna do it, you are. Nobody's gonna do it for you, you're gonna do it yourself. So just always being hard on me, he has high expectations for me. So those high expectations he sets for me, it just makes me want to reach him. And even when basketball, like he was always, he's a basketball guy, so he trying to teach me things he already know how to do and stuff like that. So it's tough. It's tough love, but he's helped me shape me into the player I am today by being tough on me, not being soft on me, and just being a great dad and coach. So
No doubt, no doubt.
yeah,
And talk about your mom, because what people don't realize, I've never been mad at your mom. Your mom is the sweetest woman, funny, laid back. She'll get you with a little sneak this, but
yeah,
you got to hear because she's gonna whisper it. But you've been blessed with a great mom. And only time I ever was irritated with her was when I was coaching you in the Biddy Ball All-Star game. And I found out, she said, Coach Vic, he's gonna be late because he's got soccer. People don't realize you were a heck of a soccer player when you were young too.
yeah,
But talk about your mom being that
yeah.
even kill, man, her love and what she instilled in you, not just as an athlete, but as a young man.
Yeah, so she's both of my parents are my support system. But my mom's really she's my emotional support system, Whether it's like tough losses or great wins, she's there for me. She's always supporting me, shouting my name. I'm looking for her in the stands. So she always makes sure like outside of sports that I was okay, doing good in school, like just texting me like talking to me like, "Are you okay? Like, do you need a break? This, that, and third." So she doesn't really like football, believe it or not, because she don't like me getting hurt. She don't like the hitting and stuff. So, but she's just she's so great. Like, especially with like my other teammates, like even my other teammates look at her as like their mom. So she's just such a great support system.
That is such a blessing, man. I've seen it firsthand, but I wanted to make sure we highlighted both of them, your
Yeah.
mom as well, on this legacy podcast. I want to also now take it back to you as a football player. I've known you. Like I said, I've coached you. I've been part of other coaches, staff that have coached you. Um, the rules are different every year with football, NFL, college, and pro, and even youth football, high school. The rules are different, more safety, more concussion protocol, which is good.
Mm.
But before the rules changed, we used to do a lot of hitting back in the day when you football player for me with the Mutiny and the Warriors. And I remember Zach and those guys, little Zach, coach with me moving on him talking about how physical you were.
Yeah.
And you only had a handful of guys like Trey, Zay, and a few other guys that would even step up in the line to go against you on one-on-ones.
Yeah.
You have been known as even now throughout high school, as a fierce competitor, but also a very physical linebacker or defensive player that will bring the wood, that will smack somebody and never be afraid. And this is something I've never asked you, so I'm curious, really, you have to have a certain mentality to play football, but where does that mentality come from when it comes to you and how you are not afraid to just
Yeah.
smack somebody, be physical? Where'd that come from? When did that start for you?
Yeah. So what? Because I don't like playing football growing up. So I never knew that I could hurt someone and it'd be okay. So once once it clicked in my head that like I could I could like hurt someone and it'd be okay, and just that's what really when it clicked in, like seeing like not to, like just that the moment. Like I love the moment of pads clicking and someone I'm running through someone's body. Like it, even as a young kid, like just making big hits, like seeing someone like injured, but like seeing someone like feel my pain, like feel the aggression that I bring. That's
No
really,
doubt.
yeah.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
High school, I know college is kind of, we'll get into that. You just starting, but high school, youth league, we all have those memories. Is there a hit, Osbourn, Battlefield, or even youth league against the Warriors, or, a 7-5-17? Was there a hit you like to this day? You were like, yo, that's my best hit ever. Is there a
Yes,
hit you remember?
it's from the when we were mutiny, so I was like 8, 9.
Mm-hmm.
They had the Frostburg Bears. The
Yep.
Bears had the big back. He was like probably 5'9". We was 9.
I know you're talking about.
Yep, they was hyping him up, because they talk, coaches talk, so it trickled down on us as players. So they was like, yeah, they got this big running back. The coaches be, he said he gonna do this to you. He said he gonna do that. So what was it? It was a dive play. He's coming. I scooped him, turned him, popped him. He fumbled. Yeah. Dad posted
I,
it on social media.
I
All that.
remember that because I
Yeah.
was on the sidelines, and I believe I talk to his dad all the time. I see him because he's a hooper now. His
Okay.
name, I believe, was Dad Woo or something like that. Dad Moo or Dad Woo, but it's crazy because I'm not gonna say you turn him into a basketball player
Yeah.
because he still played after that. But I do know I see him now doing AAU like other
Yeah.
kids. But
Mm.
I mean, it was funny, not to mock, kids you play with because you never carried it like that. But I remember guys like ducking. There's a few guys, that would duck, man. But given the fact that, to be honest with you, we live in a day and age, you mentioned social media. I mean, you're very educated, very insightful. The reality is that we live in a world now compared to when I played. Social media is huge. Like people are telling you about a 9-year-old that's going to change the game in football,
Yeah.
basketball, track, baseball,
Yeah.
or there's an 11-year-old female that's going to be the fastest sprinter ever. You went to high school respectfully with a lot of hype. I mean, there were guys like you. and Day Day and some of your teammates, you guys were part of a group that were really good. You guys won in football and basketball, but with you specifically, there was a lot of hype, and yet, to be fair, which is impressive about you, you met expectations. A lot of kids, as you know, because you're in the young adult now in college, you played with and against some guys that were just as good as you. Some might have been better in different ways that aren't making it. Doesn't mean they still can't, but you actually got to high school and met expectations, man. Um, you went to Unity Reed with some of the guys I mentioned, man, a great group, Sean Johnson, all those guys who I love. Some of them, many of them, my coach as well, Marquez. Um, just talk about like how you were able to meet those expectations at Unity Reed High School. I know you wanted to win a state championship, but as
Yeah.
far as individual awards and accolades, you immediately hit the ground running. You played with Sean Murphy, who's at the University of Alabama, and some other guys that were really good at that school. Talib, who's at Ohio State. So you talking about just great talent. But for you, when you got to high school, um, what made it comfortable for you to say, okay, I'm not afraid to do this either? And you were a freshman out there. Like, what was that mindset that you had?
Yeah. So going in that summer, I had met up with Sean Murphy because he had a great freshman season. So like I had played against him. We've been around each other for a long time. So I just came in with that mindset of he look what he's doing. I feel like I'm just as good as him. I can do the same thing. So going into that summer, I had a lot of talks with him, a lot of talks with my dad. There's just like just go out there and be you, because I've done it my whole life. Of course, the game of football changes as I get older. High school is a different level, but I just felt like I just go out there and do what I need to do and keep playing. And my football IQ really is what I would touch on for my freshman year. My football IQ really carried me a lot because everybody was bigger than me. I was like 5'10", 160, playing against 18, 19-year-old men. So my football IQ really is what carried me along the way, just being smart.
That's good. And I know we get a lot of viewers depending on the episode when I run these podcasts. For those young guys listening that are, behind you that know about Amare Campbell, you mentioned football IQ. Can you
Yep.
speak a little bit on that? Because people hear basketball IQ, football IQ, baseball IQ, and they think, okay, I know the game, well, that means do this. Elaborate a little bit. Do you mean watching more film, watching more tape? Do you mean listening, learning? In your own words, when you say your football IQ was what did it. Speak on that in your own words, real quick.
Yeah, for me, I just say my football IQ obviously built up from a lot of experiences, like playing football. So like a lot of things when I play football, I record it, like it's recorded in my memory. So I document those memories of those plays or those looks that I see. Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? I'm doing an interview. What?
That's all good.
Yeah, but yeah, so like I document certain looks and certain formations. Like I'm very instinctual, like that. That some people can't really they can't really you can't really teach instincts, but you can
Yep.
help build your instincts by watching tape, by watching a lot of tape, noticing patterns, noticing formations, stuff like that. So I say my football IQ really just comes from the whole complete thing, watching film and having those experiences. So
No doubt, man. You talked about like, Sean Murphy. You guys were along with shout out to Shane. I coached him
yeah,
too. So you, Shane, and Sean Murphy were a great trio, and you talked about as one of the best trios in the state, which when you get to Division 6, or even no matter what division, you talk about the accolades and attention, I mean, the pressure you guys were under to perform. Just talk about like how practices were and, being around so many talented players. I mean, you had, I mentioned Sean Murphy and Shane, but you had so many other guys, man, that were really good that many of them are now getting ready to go off to college like you or in college.
yeah,
What was it like, just being around all that talent?
yeah. I'd say for us three, we really built a bond to communicate with each other, and like we're all competitors, so we all would go in like, let's see how many tackles we gonna get this game. I bet you I
Mhm.
get more than you. Like those type of things, like that type of things would like build us up and get us fierce to play. Like thinking like sometimes in a game like it's bad, but I think like dang, like Sean getting so many tackles. Like all right, like let me pick it up. Like same thing with Shane, but like we all just shared information. Like Sean was the first one to go to like those big colleges, so he would always retain that information and teach us things. So it just helped us all get better. So yeah, I would just say our communication was really good. Playing like even in-game communication was good, teaching us a lot of things, noticing looks like second half adjustments, first quarter, third
Yeah,
quarter. Oh,
yeah. And there was no, and again, I know this, but just to make sure our listeners and viewers know this, there was no jealousy between you guys, right?
nope.
There was no like, oh nah, Sean, man, I should be whatever. Like it was all good. It was all of y'all were supportive of each other.
Yes, sir. Yep.
What are some games in high school? We're getting ready to get to UNC in a second because I know when we run this, UNC fans can be like, "Yo, let's hear about UNC." Um, but just real quick before we get to UNC, what games in high school do you remember? Like, games you wish you could have back, or some games
Yeah.
where you still take pride in winning and beating teams, whatever. Like, just your high school games, wins and losses that you remember that
Yeah.
still stand out for
Yeah.
you.
The biggest one I say is last year, my junior year Patriot game, playoff game. That one was a big one for us because yeah, going in, it was a lot of hype. Like we gonna blow y'all out, like because they had beat us 35-0 in the regular season. So going in there was a lot of hype. Like you're gonna blow y'all out, blah blah blah. So, but it was just like one of those moments before the game where it was like, yo, like everybody girded up, like we got to leave it all on the line. Like we can do it. Like we got the players. Like we can do it. So we just went out there. It was a shootout. Like everything was crazy. Like I had like 131 reception yards, three, I
Yeah.
think, and like two running touchdowns, a forced fumble, and like yeah. So that game was hype. It was great.
What about losses? I know because of youth football, when it came to Unity Reed and freedom, there's
Yeah,
all, I mean, that goes back from social media beefs to stuff when you guys were 8, 9, 10, 11 years old. The PME Commonwealth Warriors, for those that don't know that don't live in Northern Virginia, that arguably might be one of the best youth football rivalries in the state. Was it tough not being able to get over the hump against freedom
yeah,
because you know all those guys?
yeah,
Was that a loss that you still were like, man, if I could ever get one more game? Is that one of
yeah,
those games?
yeah. Freshman year, I mean junior year especially. We played them first time regular season, and playing against Lil Jeff and the Overton brothers, like in youth league, I
Yep.
we beat them in youth league, so they had that chip, like, and I'd
Yep.
always a great game though, like great players on both sides of the ball, great coaching, I'd always go hard, they always go hard, but my junior year we played them and it was a lot of hype, there's a lot of people there, so break down the game a little bit. We had come in, they were like top three in the state, you know how they are team. So first half, it was like 7-0. So like we was playing good defense. We was playing good defense. Offense was a little slow, but those games I always live for those games, man. Second half, third quarter, they came out and scored, and then we stopped them. But our defense can only do so much, so we just got tired and then ended up being
Yeah.
30. But that was a great game, though.
It was a great game, man. And it's so funny because I believe that's the game Sean Scott got hurt. He hurt his
Yeah.
shoulder or something or whatever. But I remember my daughter's tight with him and I've known him since he was little too. And I remember saying, wow. And then, he got hurt and some things happened and some turnovers. But it's
Yeah.
interesting you mentioned the talent on both sides. You know me forever. I'm from the, highly coveted 757,
Yeah.
for decades.
Hmm.
757. I laugh about it because I've been living in Nova for 20 plus years now, but
Yeah.
we feel like we're the best in everything. But if you take a step back, and me and my son were talking about this, the Nova guys, especially here in Prince William, you talk about your class, the class behind you, the class behind you, I mean, before you, ahead of you, especially these last two, three classes in football. We'll just do football.
Yeah.
You and Day Day and Shane and Sean Murphy, Little Jeff, Cam Courtney,
Yeah.
um, Gabe over at Patriots, Sam Fernandez, um, and I can't name them all. My young little Coven just got an
Yeah.
offer over at Gainesville from shout out to Coven
Uh,
from Syracuse. I mean, do you take a look at your county right now in the 703, just Prince William, be like, yo, we doing the damn thing too. I know you in college, you looking like say, yo, we got ballers, right?
Nah, yeah, because the 757, they let it talk. Like, it's great ball comfort there, but like we there too. Like, we just as good. But, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, especially the skill position. Like, skill position, we can go hand in hand. Like, want to like fight with that. Like, it's just I feel like up here we don't get as much respect as we do, as much respect as we do because of like I'd say like outside, like maybe the narrative before that 757
Yeah,
was for now,
yeah,
yeah. But
yeah.
we starting to get our respect now.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to see. I get emotional. I get excited seeing all you guys, man. Now getting offers and going off and transitioning to young adulthood. It's just it's a blessing because you guys are doing it, man.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, we talked about college and moving on. You are at UNC. You are a Tar Heel,
Yes.
which I say all the time. I'm going to cheer for you like you my son, which I will do anyway. The only game I probably won't root for you is when you play my Hokies. But at the same time, the Vic household, from me to my wife Shanice, Isaiah, Sydney, Lauren, we are so proud of you and happy for you. And so many people in Prince William are, especially on the west side. But you're a
Yep.
Tar Heel. Great choice. You know, my
Yep.
guy, Dwight Hollier, is there, one of the best linebackers in UNC history. He's a licensed therapist like me. He was a phenomenal linebacker. His nickname in Hampton was Psycho. He played
Oh,
a lot like you. Yeah, ask him about the nickname Psycho.
okay.
Funny because he's a therapist, but that was his nickname.
Yeah.
But I came up to Unity Reed because I do work at Unity Reed High School, and I saw you there. It was during the fire drill,
Oh
and you
yeah.
and your family introduced me to Mac Brown,
Yep.
and the other coaches were there just to kind of check in with you. And Mac was surprised that even though I'm a proud Hokie, I was really proud of you and wanting you to be at
Yeah.
UNC because I knew that was a great fit for you. Just
Yeah.
talk about why you chose UNC because you had other offers from West Virginia, Maryland, other Power Five schools.
Yeah.
Um, you chose UNC, and everyone has their opinion. I mean, a lot of people were happy for you, but you turned down some other really good programs that you could have also gone to. Why was UNC the choice?
Yeah. For me, it was first time I visited. My mom was like, "Yeah, wait, you're gonna commit, right? You're gonna commit, right?" This is like 2021, so really, my mom has always loved it. So I was like, "Mom, just like let's weigh out all the options. I don't want to rush it." So but UNC was always her one. And then I went on an official visit June 24th, and the thing that really did it for me was, they sent the little charter truck to come pick us up, right? And then when we arrived at our hotel, every single staff member was there. Every coaching staff member was there waiting for us, and they all
Oh,
welcomed me and all my siblings, and then they loved it. So that was a really big moment for me, like seeing all the coaching staff come out of their way to welcome me and my family. It really
yeah.
did it.
So it wasn't the Jordan brand. It
No,
wasn't people because
yeah,
outsiders looking in and say, well, I mean, it's UNC, the Jordan brand, the colors, the basketball program, the football program. Dre Bly, who was there when you were being recruited, now he left. But I mean, there's a lot to love about UNC in regards to the pageantry, the history. But
yeah.
you actually fell in love with the recruiting process, the school, the coaches, right? It was
Yeah.
more so about how you saw yourself there as a player.
Yeah, yeah, more so, yeah. Especially with it's just for me, it's relationships. So, like Coach Day, my position coach, who recruited me. He's from Potomac, Virginia. He'd always like been there. Like he's always like texted me, checked up on me. Like even when I'd go visit other schools, he'd be like, "Yeah, go do that. Make sure you weigh out all the options." Like he was never like that bitter type of coach, but he was a great person with him and my dad. And then Coach Mac Brown is the most stand-up guy I've met. Like he coaches, for kids going out to recruiting process, coaches will say a lot of things to you, but certain coaches are going to keep it 100, like keep it real with you. And he always kept it real with me and my family. So yeah, that was what it was for me.
Have you seen a video of Mac Brown after that big win? He was in there
Yeah.
dancing. Have you seen?
Yeah, man. Love Mac. He's a great guy.
Oh man, him and my Coach Beam, are good friends, and seeing them dance now, I'm older. I'm just like, man, they were neither one of them were like that back in the day. But
Yeah.
you evolve as a coach and as a man. That's really cool. How does it feel? Because you enrolled in early. You
Yep.
you you enrolled early, and next thing I know, I'm looking on Twitter and Instagram and on your parents' stuff, and I'm seeing the videos. Your Marcus, your dad and I tight. I was like, wow, you have fully gotten acclimated. I know you're still learning some things, but how was the spring for you?
Yeah. Spring for me was great, honestly. You know, when you get to high school to college, everyone's bigger. So there's no more 5'9", 5'8" linemen, 5'10" linemen. Everyone's
Mhm.
huge. then again, football IQ, back to what I said, was really what carried me through my spring. Like my football IQ going into this spring at UNC really carried me a lot. And just doing the extra was for me because, we're kind of skinny at linebacker right now. And so I had Coach Dick had planned for me to get a lot of reps in the spring. So my IQ had carried me a lot. And just doing the extra, like watching film and doing the extra stuff, extra workouts, and I just kept my head in the playbook. And the playbook is what will carry you, because if you don't know the playbook in college, you can't play. So just knowing what you're doing.
And what about getting familiar with campus, the
Yeah,
classes? Are you okay with all of that? I know you got people there to help you. I mean, it's
yeah,
Power Five, Division One school. Like you fine with all of that? You doing well with that?
yeah. First couple of days was rough because like UNC campus is it's a big like campus for school. So there's like probably 25 different like halls, like where your classes were. So it's a lot of walking, but I got acclimated well. I'm pretty familiar with pretty much the whole area. It's beautiful
That's
there.
what's up. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's good. What about like have you looked? I remember, and again, this is about you, but
Yeah.
I remember, even though it was eons ago in the 90s, I remember when I was at Tech and it's August and we're going through tour days. Back then it was just different. I remember looking at the schedule like, man, we played the Miami Hurricanes. I'm gonna be going against Ray Lewis. And then I looked and said Syracuse. And I was like, man, we played Clemson this year. And UVA, and you in the ACC. I know everyone has their opinion about what's the best conference, but I mean, you are going to be playing eventually. I'm not on the staff. I know they got plans for you, but whether it's this year or later on, you're going to be going against schools that you watch, that like you grew up watching, and in front of thousands of y'all. Open up the season in a big game. Actually, I'm thinking about going South Carolina. Well, my good friend is the head coach. Shane Beamer's there, and what are your thoughts when you look at the schedule? Has it hit you yet that you are like playing this level of football? Has it hit you?
Yeah, no, it definitely hit me, especially like that first game narrative going around, because that's a huge game. So just looking at I've looked at the roster, like just so many great players that I'll be able to play against, and it's just I'm blessed, to be able to play against like that high caliber of players, so I'm finally there at that level with them.
Yeah, yeah. That has got to be a great feeling. I mean, you're part of a special fraternity, man. And whether you play D1, D2, or D3, everyone doesn't play college sports. People don't realize that. And you're playing at a phenomenal university. A degree from UNC is huge, but more importantly, you're creating memories and relationships you're going to have for life. Just a few more things, and I'm gonna let you get out of here. You've been great. Um, how have the old heads, the older players treated you? I don't know how it is now. I know they can't do certain hazing, and I don't even want you to speak on that.
Yeah,
I don't want Mac Brown texting me, take the
yeah,
interview down. But how have the older players embraced you? Have
yeah.
they, who are some guys that you can name that have like, hey yo, they looked out for me so far? There's some guys on the team that have taken you under that you talk to.
Yeah, so what I will say, the narrative in the locker room is like you have to earn your respect. So like
Hmm.
they don't, the players there, they don't really care about that, 5-star, 4-star, 3-star, 2-star. It don't matter. Like when you come here, you're realistically and nobody can, like, you're ground zero. So the thing for them was just earning their respect. And then I felt like this spring, like going in, like I earned a lot. Like by the end of spring, I earned a lot of the players' respect. Like a lot of the players respect me now. So it's a good thing. Like I'd say, of course, the two starting middle linebacker, Power Echols and Cedric
Right.
Gray, those two
Yep.
guys, yeah. The LB room is like we're all tight. Like there's no animosity, there's no bitterness. Everybody helps each other. So
I
shout out
love it.
those. Yeah.
And the speed is a little bit faster, right? You've been in some fast guys up here, but that's the first thing I noticed. How about you? Like even in
Yeah.
practice, the speed is another level, right?
Yeah. And especially with like I was running against the ones and like inside run, those
Mm-hmm.
linemen quick, they get on you real quick. So yeah, that was the biggest thing for me. Like our center, Corey Gaynor, great. Like he played at Miami. He's our like captain now. That dude is fast. I never seen a lineman move that fast.
I try to tell people I'm not fast no more, but it's it's a movement. It's like six Thanos coming at you, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Area quickness is crazy.
What about the quarterback? You guys got a Heisman candidate at quarterback. I mean, just talk about being around him. I don't know him. I've seen him on TV. He is confident. He's
Yeah.
got moxie. He talks, but he makes NFL type throws. What have you learned from him? What have you seen? I know you're a defensive guy, but what have you
Yeah,
seen with him?
yeah, really watching him is like jaw dropping. Like there's levels to players, and he's literally like seeing mock drafts, top 2 quarterback, top second best player in the nation. Like watching him throw the ball is crazy. Like he's especially playing against him. Like when he's sitting in that pocket, there's no throw he can't make. Like he's just an amazing player, and like the narrative with people like with players like that, you would think like he's big, like people think like he'd be cocky, he's like big this, but like he's a normal guy. Like if you walked
Yeah,
in and never seen him, you couldn't tell who Drake May best quarterback in the nation was. He's literally like
yeah,
a normal guy. So yeah,
yeah. Well, they struck gold, probably platinum, because they got May, but they just had Sam Howell, who's the projected starter for the Washington Commanders. So, I tell people all the time in college football, no matter what level, when you got a great quarterback, you got a great chance to win. You need
yeah,
linemen, you need receivers, you need defense, but that's a special position, just like having a great linebacker like yourself.
yeah.
Amar, we're done here. I do want to ask you this, man. We got legacy podcast shout outs, man. I know you know a lot of people, man, but you've already shouted out your mom and dad. But anybody you want to shout out real quick before I let you log off? Anybody you want to show love to?
I just
Anybody?
shout out Coach Vic, man. My guy, Coach Vic, always been there. Coached me a lot of basketball, football. Great mentor, great guy. Shout out Coach Zach, Coach Big Zach, Coach Low Zach, Coach Ron. Shout out all my youth players all my youth coaches because you guys really built me up, basketball or football. Coach Tabitha, every coach, soccer too. Every coach that has coached me has gave me like a little piece to build me into the athlete I am today. So I just thank all y'all for that.
Man, we appreciate it. On behalf of those guys you named, we appreciate it, man. And we're proud of you, man. I cannot wait. It's crazy. 2023, we're in June now, getting ready to be in July. Next thing you know, I'm going to be on in front of my TV watching you. Like, yo, that's crazy. But congratulations to you. Keep being a leader. Be a big brother to your little brother and sisters, man. They're looking up to you, man, and keep repping our area the way you've been doing with class and
Mm-hmm.
just being a great player and great person, man.
Yes,
Thank you
sir.
for Mark for jumping on. I'll be talking to you soon, man. Thank you.
Yes,
You
sir.
be
Thank you.
dope.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's Amare Campbell. You heard him with the Go Hills. I'm gonna let that slide because he's one of mine. But it's just great to see people really doing well and just people you coach, even if I didn't coach him, just mentoring him and seeing him doing well is just an honor to me, man. And that's the benefit when you invest in other people, when you're able to invest in people and you're able to show young men and women the path they should go on that best fits their needs, that's going to help them be successful. You become part of a village and you become part of a great journey. Um, just really honored to have him jump on. So we got one more guest joining the Vicktory Life Legacy podcast. He's jumping on now. You can see him connecting. My guy Quentin Davis is joining us. Just waiting for him to log on, but while he logs on and gets himself situated, for those that don't know, Amare Campbell is at UNC. Get online, check out their schedule. And for those that are, watching this and listening to us, make sure you subscribe to our channel. Make sure that you make yourself a supporter of Vicktory Life. We are, taking donations for the Vicktory Life Youth Sports Organization. So we want to make sure, I lost Quentin. I'm sure he's going to log back on, but we want to make sure you find ways to invest in the community, man. We got a lot of great things going on in Vicktory Life, man. So I want to make sure you find ways to help, if not us, someone else. So we're going to see what's going on with Quentin, and then we're going to get to his interview here in a second. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as promised, our second guest is up here, Quentin Davis. We got the technical difficulties worked out, but former linebacker standout Quentin Davis is joining the show, now also at Frostburg University, playing college ball as well. Like our previous guest, Amare Campbell, this is another young man. I've been part of his journey, mentored him. I didn't get a chance to coach him. I coached his younger brother, Bo, in basketball. I didn't coach Quentin, but Quentin I coached against, and then I saw him play middle school football and basketball in high school, football, play everything. I believe he played lacrosse, right, Quentin?
Yeah, I played lacrosse my senior year.
Yeah, man. So this guy's a multi-talented athlete. And again, like my previous guest, comes from a family I'm extremely close to, and he's like family. So, Quentin, how you doing, man? Welcome to the Vicktory Life Legacy Podcast.
I'm doing great. How you doing?
I'm good. So I just saw Quentin yesterday. So he also, when he's home from college, is refereeing and also trying to tear trying not to tear the house up with his brothers. But uh, Quentin, man, it's great to have you on, man. So I'm gonna jump into it. I've always been a big fan of you, not because I'm tight with your mom and dad and I coach your brother, but I felt like you've always been a hard worker.
Mm-hmm.
You've always been a guy that, was overlooked and you made people look at you with your hard work. You never did what everyone else was doing. You did what was best for the team and yourself. And sometimes that meant you had to kind of get to where you needed to be to get noticed. But before we talk about your time at Osbourn and how you adjusted to your life in Frostburg, let's take it back. So I had your friend on here and also a former teammate, Amare Campbell. He was just on here. So this is kind of a linebacker episode. But we're talking about your legacy. So let's take it back to when it all started, man. Let's talk about your youth sports days. Let's stick with football, man. Where'd you play at, for those who don't know, and what do you remember about youth football?
So youth football, I played at NPYFL. I started off playing running back because I was a Marion Barber fan.
Whoa, took it back.
Yeah, so I was a big Marion Barber fan. Also, I used to wear 24. So running back, receiver, jet sweeps, and then I played corner and safety. But honestly, I was just smaller than the rest of the kids. That's why I was playing those positions. And then as I got older, I just developed more into a linebacker. Stopped playing running back. Got into the offensive line for a long time.
For real?
I was playing O-line for about 5 years straight.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I missed that. I didn't know that, man. That's all right. Shout out to my old lineman. That's what I played. All right. So what do you remember most? Because youth football, as me and your mom and dad and other parents talk about, and coaches, it changes constantly. Now it's gone from, okay, you had these leagues, maybe 2 leagues. Now there's hundreds of leagues. There's all this coaching going on. You got great athletes. You got some that aren't so great. You got daddy ball. You got politics. It can be a lot. You kind of were able to stay in your lane and not get caught up in that. What do you remember most about your time playing, youth football, man? What do you remember, man?
Just fun and just like enjoying the development and enjoying being around teammates. I think that's what youth football is missing, and it's more of a glamorized thing, especially with like, oh, I'm going to this team, going to that team. I would just I don't even care what team I go on. I mean, I just kind of want to play. I didn't care. Like for my Sharks people out there, you got American Central. I didn't care about any of that. I was just like, hey, just stick me wherever. And, I just enjoyed just having fun every day.
Yeah, you did. Talk about some of your teammates that you played with, man. Like some of you, just what do you remember about them, man? Because a lot of y'all have gone on to excel from youth football to high school, and a few of you guys are in college, man. What do you remember about some of your teammates? Name some of them and how it was when you guys were playing.
Well, Amari played up. I played against Amari. That was always fun. He played for the Gators, Cowboys. That was the rivalry. I played with
But that was Manassas Park, right?
That was Manassas Park.
Yeah, that was a great league. Yes, Manassas Park. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was hot. I also had a quarterback named Nick Fast. He runs D1 track now, I think. Wow. So that going into Sharks, I forgot some of their names, but I had some pretty good athletes on the team. Even in Mutiny, we had Peyton Simmons was fast. Jakari fast. We had Alex Cruz. He was a good linebacker for us, and we had a really stacked team. Mason. We had some guys, and I know I'm missing a lot of players like that. Just a few off the top of my head. I don't think I got a chance to play with Sean Murphy, but he was on the team like a year after me or something like that. So I was just always around good guys, even if they weren't on my team. We had a quarterback, really good quarterback on our Metro team, white kid, about 5'9", but he was good too. That Metro ball team was fun too. Traveling, playing. So I had some guys.
I want to take a minute. This is no secret, from you and Bo and Brandon and Xavier, but you guys have a close-knit family. Your mom is always just involved in Manassas City and the county and the community, you know, from making sure kids are being fed to picking up just vans of kids and making highlight videos and Easter egg baskets. And she is all in and making the community a better place. And you have your dad, who is my dude, coaching, you know, working all the time. You come from a great family, and that's something I know you're proud of. I know I'm proud of you because of that. Just talk about your mom and dad. Like, let's just give them some love and some thoughts on what they've done to help you get to this place. Because I know sometimes being a teenager, parents, you know, like, okay, you know, they're always telling you how you got to play better, do this better. You know, I get it. I'm a parent of 3, but you know, you already know you wouldn't be where you are without them. You know, whether it was getting rides of practice or making sure everything was straight with financial aid, all of that, clearing house. We'll start with your mom. What does your mom mean to you?
So a lot of people know her Miss Carrie, and she's the rock to everybody that comes into my life, and it's positive to me. And even my brothers is just like, if positive to me, she's gonna be positive to you and treat you, you know, how she would treat her own. And I feel like that's just like, it's like such a big thing to me. I kind of look up to that. It's like okay, you treat everybody like they're your own. It's like a family, and it creates a good community, and it makes a good name for yourself too. It's just like some of my best friends, you know, call it second mom, things like that. It's like, I don't know. It's just, it makes me feel closer to the people that I'm with. I don't know. It's just great to have her as a mom, just because like she could be naggy, and that's every mom though. Like she's naggy to everybody. It's not just me. She's going to critique the next person just like how she would critique me, and I just like how there's no bias there. Like she's not going to treat me better than you. She's not going to treat you better than me. Like everything's a balance for her, and she just wants to see everybody do like good as a community. Like she'll do like food, like pregame food and stuff like that too.
Yes.
So it's like everything with her is just like, how could we build a community to make it stronger? And that's what I like about her.
I love it too. I don't live over there by y'all, but I see everything on social media. And of course, you already know you guys got 2 teams in my AAU organization. Right. And she helped put that together. We talk text almost every other day, just making sure that's straight. So what a blessing. But also, I mean, I don't know anybody but your mom, and maybe a few other people that do Easter egg hunts around Easter, but her Easter egg hunts are like real ones, like Hunger Games competition, you know, eggs hidden everywhere. So God bless Carrie. Shout out to your mom. And then your dad, who is a great debater, has an opinion, he's passionate, but he's coached. He's coached and been around you, and you're very fortunate. You know, you and I on these same streets. Everyone does not have a Damien. Everyone does not have a dad. Right. So talk about your dad's influence on your life and what he means to you.
Day in and day out, he's always there. And that's just, I use that as motivation. I really don't want to let him down. He spent, you know, I was 5 years old after practice. If I had a bad practice, he'd be like, okay, let's go run this hill real quick. Boom.
Wow.
We go run the hill 10 times, 15 times. If I fumbled the ball 30 times, like, it was just things like that, and it just pushed me to be a hard worker. He taught me how to be a hard worker. He came from, you know, he was at a job, didn't pay well, and then, you know, worked there for years, and then he, you know, he got a better paying job. But it's just like hard working. He didn't come from too much. So just seeing him work hard, it makes me want to push better, and it makes me want to push my brothers more. And, you know, to everybody else, he wants to be like, he wants to be a father figure to the people that don't have it. So like I said with my mom, she comes in, you know, if you come into my life, she's gonna treat you, you know, like her own. My dad gonna do the exact same thing. And I just feel like that's special, that's something special that my parents do. And I don't know, it's just, my dad's a great dude, laughable. You joke around with.
Funny.
Yeah.
And people don't realize, I'm gonna say this, and I know he's not gonna be mad for me saying this, but people don't realize this guy's working 70, 75 hours a week. And in between working on the weekends, he will coach 2, 3 AAU games, then go back to work or work in between. They don't make men like that no more. So shout out to both your parents, man. I just wanted to make sure we mention them on your segment of the show because it's important. Because I think you and my last guest, Amare, are not where you are without the parents and the village they put around you. Let's talk about your shout out to your brother Bo, who I coached back in Summer League basketball. We had a really good team. We were the youngest team in the Summer League with Bo, Isaiah, Amare Campbell, Trey Terrell, CJ. We beat Sean Scott and them twice, but then all of a sudden, here comes you, Idris, and all y'all showing up. And y'all beat us by, I think we scored 3 or 4 points. Y'all beat us by 37. And I remember, man, Bo, you know, you and Bo, you tight with all your brothers, but you and Bo are close. And I remember talking to your mom and dad, and your mom said to me, she said, Quentin didn't like it. Like, he likes to beat his brother, but not in that way. And I was like, really? She said, no, he didn't like it. Your brother just graduated from Osbourn High School. Congratulations to Bo. I know you have Brandon and Xavier, but talk about Bo and just your brother. But it's like, I mean, God bless your mom, 4 boys and a husband. Good Lord, I just got me and my son Zay. But you know, just talk about your relationship with your brothers, but especially Bo. You know, how's that been growing up? Both you guys played sports. How's that been?
You know, all my brothers were ridiculously tight. We're just all of us like this. But me and Bo, he's been there since I couldn't, as far back as I can remember. We were only 14 months apart. So, you know, we played sports, not even on the same team, but just like at the same times. We were always around the same age, had the same friends. But it's not like we didn't have too much competition with each other. Well, some people would think, oh, they must have some competition. It was never like that. It was just always fun. It was he's a light guy. He doesn't really take too much to the chest, and if he does, you know, it's all right. We're going to be fine. But you know, sometimes, you know, we're going to talk, and we still play one-on-one like every other day. And he beats me by a few. I beat him by a few, and it's just like he's just like I would do a lot for that guy. I would do a lot for that guy right there. And
no doubt.
I almost can't even put it into words. Like, I'm not really a good talker, but
that's okay. You're doing fine.
Damn sure can't put it into words.
Hey, listen, that's just a blessing. It's special, man. That brotherhood you guys got. Like, good. I love it. I love seeing the pictures. I love seeing the videos. I remember back in the day, like, that neighborhood y'all lived in was crazy. When y'all before y'all moved, when y'all all went to the court, it'd be you, Bo, Amare, Idris, Day. It'd be like 35 kids hooping. Like, y'all just hooped all day. I mean, y'all kind of erased that stereotype of misconception where kids don't go outside, because every time I look, y'all was outside going at it, man. I think sometimes that's probably the best way to get better at a sport. You know, we love these trainers, but nothing like live action. Let's talk about, though, you as a player. There's a misconception that people realize, because you're such a good person off the field, and you're a hard worker, but you have a mean streak too. People don't realize, like, you kind of, I see you smart because I know you. You off the field are chill. You work hard, you're around your family, you know, you have girlfriends, you know, whatever, right? Like a normal teenage dude. But when you put that helmet and played, you were nasty. Especially when someone got chirpy with you. And I seen you. I'm gonna go back and try to find the tape. But I've seen it live, man. Like, where do you get that from? Like, is that just something you were born with, or your dad told you you have to be a dog? Because some guys, respectfully, ain't built like that, where they don't know how to turn it off, don't know how to turn it on. You know, you have a nice balance to it. Just talk about where that comes from and what goes to your mind when you competing.
Man, when I'm really competing, and you know, it's a close game, you know, or like, say you hit me one play, I'm like, oh, all right, cool. That's the type of game we're gonna have. And it's a certain chip on your shoulder that it's not an on and off switch. It's just like, okay, game starts, boom, like it has to be on. Has to have been on for that to, you know, really go on. But like, I've had that chip for a long time, and it's something that's like it's like adrenaline almost. It's like a second win that you get, like you're playing your normal game. Something's like, all right, cool. Now you're playing with some aggressiveness, playing with some anger. Now you catch that second win, and then now you're a step ahead of the next guy. That's like, okay, he's not as aggressive as me. He's not going to approach me the same way I'm going to approach him. So then I'm gonna just run through him. And it's I got that from watching. Oh, I got that from watching highlight videos too. I'm not gonna lie.
That's
Like
fine.
I watched like Mean Joe Green. Just like
wow, Mean Joe Green, you taking it back.
What's that dude from the Steelers with the messed up teeth, the missing teeth? You know what I'm talking
Jack
about?
Tatum. No, was it Tatum? I think so.
It was one of the white guys.
Yeah, he had the missing teeth. I'm struggling now. I should know that. Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Yeah. Man, and watching that's just like boom right there. Just like, okay, cool. Now I gotta imitate that.
Yeah. You played at Osbourn 4 years.
Right.
And at the end of the day, man, Osbourn, you might not know this. I know your mom and dad know this. When I moved up here in 2000, I worked at Mets in 2008, the same year I coached high school football at Parkview. I've been living in Northern Virginia, started off in Fairfax since 2000, right after I was cut from the Baltimore Ravens in 2001. And early on, when I lived in Northern Virginia and Fairfax, and even when I moved to Prince William, people don't realize this, but Osbourn football and basketball, especially football, were playing for state championships.
Yeah.
Won, and then they played Oscar Smith up in my alma mater, Virginia Tech. Was a football power. We know about Brandon Hogan and Lucky Whitehead, and then Dominique Terrell went there for a year. They had athletes and have always had that. But over time, the area's changed. You stayed at Osbourn, when you could have left. It's nothing wrong with it. We all know some players transfer for different reasons. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But you stayed there when early on in your career, you guys were not very good. And it was tough. And, talking to your family, you were very confident that you and the guys that stayed could turn around, finish your junior and senior year with playoff seasons. And you had a great career. But before we talk about how you guys finished, what was it like, when you were there early on and you guys weren't winning? There was sometimes the game was a running clock, and you're in a district where Patriot and Battlefield and even Unity Reed, county schools have a bigger budget, have, at the time, turf field. You have the new stadium now that looks immaculate, but it wasn't always that way. What made you stay?
My friends and just not wanting to leave what I've already made as a family. So, like I said before, if you're good to me, my family's gonna treat you good, and I didn't want to just leave that behind. That's something that I felt like I didn't want to rebuild. So I was just like, okay, if I stay with my men. We're just going to fight through it. I know, like, we went 1-9 my freshman year, and it wasn't like I wasn't too upset about it, only because I know the teams that we were playing were top teams. We played North Stafford that year. We had Hilton that year. That was good. Woodbridge. So, like, pretty really good teams with, D1 talent across the board. But, I wasn't too upset about that. My sophomore year, we had some very high hopes. Every game was within like a touchdown or two. Yep. So I wasn't upset with the losses that we had my sophomore year, but junior, senior year, I took those losses from my sophomore year with the same exact people that I lost 1-9 with. You know what I mean? And we saw that we were good 3-8 or 3-7. And then once we saw that we were good 3-7, we were like, okay, this will not be hard. Our junior year will be good. Again, we had COVID or whatever. I gained probably an extra 20 pounds.
Who didn't?
yeah. But gained 20 pounds and was really just hitting the weight room. So, we had that extra time. And in that extra time, I feel like me and my boy Diego, my other linebacker, we really turned it up a notch from sophomore year to junior year. And even players like Brandon Hastings, our tackle, really turned it up a notch from those 2 years. So I just feel like I just feel like I was going to leave a family that I didn't want to leave. So that's the main
No
thing.
doubt. No doubt. And, you know, what's interesting, I'm glad you actually helped me with my next question. You talked about Diego. You and Diego are in a district. And it's funny because you and Diego were a phenomenal linebacker combination, like both of y'all together. But down the street, you have Shane, Amare, and Sean Murphy. And they're at your rival school. You got Sean Murphy, who's a 5-star, high 4-star, depending on what publication, and he Alabama commit. Before he wasn't, you know, Alabama, he had offers from Ohio State, you know, everybody, Virginia Tech, UVA. You have Amari, who has been a child prodigy, a great player, phenomenal guy. You guys grew up together. That's your boy. He has a respect for you. And then you have Shane, who, you know, we all in the same circle, mutiny, warriors, all of that. And then down the street is you and Diego. And all of a sudden, man, you know, you guys are doing it too, man. Just talk about, you said that mindset, you kind of like took it up a notch, man. You guys finished off your junior senior with 2 playoff seasons, man, winning seasons. What was it like playing with Diego? And were you guys motivated, even though you guys respect Amari and all those guys, were you motivated for the fact that, okay, we're really good too, or we're pretty good too? Did it ever, like, you know, in the locker room and the weight room, did y'all talk about that?
Nah, I mean, my teammates used to poke fun like y'all aren't 4-star, but I mean, I didn't really care that bad. But me and Brody, our sophomore year, you know, after our sophomore year, we kind of looked at each other. We were like, okay, we're not a bad team. So once we realized that we weren't a bad team, we were like, okay, now we got to lead this team because, you know, we had seniors leaving, Chance was leaving, Luke was leaving. So we had leaders and core players leaving. So we were like, okay, cool. Now we got to lead it. So when me and him really figured that out, we would just work every day. Me and him, we would either go to the field together. We were in my garage just lifting weights, doing whatever, going on jogs. The recorder. Oh, okay. It just made we just always pushed each other, and that's my boy. And I just feel like we weren't overlooked. They're obviously great players, but like I just feel like me and him knew that we were good linebackers too. So it wasn't just those 3 over there, Unity Reed, or, you know, these 3 in the Battlefield Kid, and then us. It was like, okay, us 3 are all on the same playing field. That's how we saw it. I know not everybody saw it like that, but that's just how we always thought, and that's how we try to, you know, play every game and attack every.
Yeah. And you also had a lot of, you know, players. I mean, the kid, you mentioned Chance, I believe he went to Howard, right? He was good. Then you lose him, but then you got shout out to your teammate Nigel, who I thought was a phenomenal player. And then, you know, you have other guys that step up, man. You know, what's his kid's name? Always running around. He's one of the fastest players. What's Jigga?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's just, you know, you guys had players, you had talent, man. Just real quick, I know you're moving on. We'll get to Frostburg in a second, man, but just, you know, your senior year to finish your career with a playoff run, man, how special was that?
I'm not going to say it was a dream come true because I saw it happening my junior year, but it was just, it was a special thing. And just seeing a team come from, you know, our sophomore year to our senior year, it was just kind of like magic. It was just seeing the whole process actually work out and work in our favor. You know, Carr got and Nigel got better, and then we had pieces like Nick come in at the D.
Shout out to Nick.
Yep, shout out to Nick. He going to Charleston. We had pieces like Amir, which was a big body safety, you know, come down in the box. And we just had like certain players that we just added in. And then those add-ons really just took us to the next step, win a couple, not a couple, but, you know, get a little playoff run going, get a home game for the first round against Garfield. That was a good game. But it wasn't a good game. It was a hard-fought game. It was like 10-0. But it was like magic, just magic happening, and just seeing that hard work does pay off if you stick with the program and not transfer or go somewhere else. I mean, for me personally.
No, you're right. And you named some ballers, man, and it's good they're going off to college, man. Nick, I'm glad you mentioned him. Another guy comes from a great family, and had a great season. I mean, just really cool. You mentioned, you guys didn't really say much and joke or hate on other players that were getting recognition. And I know that's not you anyway, because a lot of those guys you've known all your life. But when it came down to it, I remember talking to your family because I try to keep track of all the local kids. You had offers. I mean, you had schools interested in you. I remember your mom told me you guys went to Frostburg. I know you were getting looks and offers, Virginia State and other schools. And it's good because that means those schools believe in you. They see your worth. I knew from jump, I was telling your mom and your dad, I was high on Frostburg because they have a history. We'll talk about your time there and adjusting there. But for the recruiting process, what was that like for you, taking the visits and trying to figure out what the next step was in your future? Because, youth leagues, middle school ball, Mets, and, high school, those coaches, your teammates. Going off to college, it's a huge step. And, we'll talk about the adjustment. I remember talking to your dad and your mom, and they were tripping on how there's no time. I was like, yeah, I could have told y'all that. But, I'll let you talk about the adjustment in a second. But talk about the recruiting process, what it was like, what made you choose Frostburg? Because I know you had other offers. Talk about the other schools that recruited you and what was that like?
So to start the recruiting process, I was going on visits and camps starting my sophomore year. And then, I was taking like small D2, D3 camps. And, it was just seeing other competition, seeing what part I had to get to, have these coaches interested in me. So I took the camps as a learning curve, and then I would take some of the camp drills, do them at home, things like that. And as far as like the actual going to college and getting recruited and having coaches being recruited, interested in me was it was late, man. I was getting coaches to talk to me the beginning of my senior year, but none of them were like really serious on offering me yet. So I got my first offer, I believe it was week 4, something like that. It was early on in the season from UVA Waz. And that was my very first offer. And then from then, I just kind of gained more offers. I think my second one was my next two were like D3 or something like that. But it was just it was scary to start because I was a senior going into my senior year. Where my offers at, don't have any offers, barely have any looks. So yeah, and then like I wasn't upset that they weren't D1. I didn't really care that bad. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I would just, hey, cool, it's a college, somebody. Yeah, I'm happy that somebody's giving me a chance, and that's what I took. That's what I took out of the whole recruiting process is be interested in be interested in people that are interested in you. So once I saw that people were interested in me, I was like, okay, cool, I'm full-fledged.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. And you chose Frostburg. How's it been? Why'd you choose him?
So why I chose Frostburg was so I had Glenville, Virginia State, Wise, and Frostburg, and those were my 4 D2 offers. And I was originally committed to Virginia State, and a lot of people did not know that. So I was going to go to Virginia State, and then their coach left, and their head coach was the only coach that I knew. So when he left, I was like, I don't really know any of the other coaching staff, haven't taken a visit yet. So I was like, okay, let's move on from that. So my next best was Frostburg. Now, I went to my first Frostburg camp my sophomore year with Dwayne Fitzgerald, and he was the head coach. And I liked it. I like how it was ran. I liked the coaches there. Eric Wagner, really liked Eric Wagner. And then again, it wasn't a Frostburg camp, but the Frostburg coaches were there. Eric Wagner was there again my junior year at the camp, ran the camp, talked to me afterwards. And then I went on my third camp, but Frostburg was also there. They're running it, I think. And Dwayne Fitzgerald pulls me aside. He's like, hey, we're going to offer you. So by then I was like very excited. So I was like, okay, I've been seeing these coaches I'm very familiar with. And then once I saw that Fitzgerald left, I was like, okay, and he took a lot of the coaching staff with him. But I still have Wagner, and I've seen him for 3 years. And he was becoming the head coach. And I was like, okay, well, I got trust in him. You know what I mean? So I chose Frostburg, and I was looking at academics. They're pretty good. They're a pretty good academic school when it comes to D2. So, and student count, all that, it just kind of fit what I wanted out of a D2 school. And I don't know, I enjoy it there. I enjoy it there a lot. And the biggest thing is the adjustment from
high school to college. Yeah. The
and
speed.
Yeah.
The level of competition.
Yep. The balance of doing work.
Yep. Yeah.
Level of competition. I didn't, me, I was going in, I was like, man, I'm gonna go in there. You feel me? I get there and I'm like, okay, cool, reality check. Boom. Linemen are bigger, faster, what I thought. Plays develop faster, what I thought. You know what I mean? Running backs are bigger than what I thought, faster what I thought. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Playbook is deeper than what I thought it was going to be.
Yep.
So I was like, okay, now I got to process this. And then now it's fine, but it's still an adjustment no matter what. You got to adjust to everything in every way. So I'm adjusting now to playing D-line. So they moved me from linebacker to D-line.
Okay, you're on D-line now. Okay, good. I didn't know that. You're a D-line.
Yeah,
okay.
I was playing DN this spring. Good first spring. But once you get used to your day being consistent of football during that 2-week span of before the season starts, once you get adjusted to that, and then once you get adjusted to school, then practice, meetings, lift in the morning, and all of that, you're pretty smooth sailing. Just the main thing is make sure you're not falling behind or being late. And then after that, you're just like, okay, now I'm on the same level. Let's see who I can beat. You know what I mean? And then that's just how it is. Just having a chip on your shoulder every practice really, it really gives you an edge over some guys that aren't, as driven.
Yeah, no doubt. And just real quick, for just to specify or clarify, I should say, you are now in the D-line. Are you playing on the edge, or they have you at the 3 technique? Are you coming off the edge, or are you inside?
So I'm coming off the edge in some pack.
Okay.
I'll be in a 4-eye, which I get to adjust to.
That's tough. You're going against guys like me.
Oh yeah. No, it's been tough. It's been tough, but every day is an adjustment. In the past time, I'm a little bit quicker, so I got the edge up on that part. But end of the year meetings, they got me playing linebacker. They were like, you can play linebacker and edge. We seen you play both. You know what I mean? So we could put you at 2 positions. It's just how we can get you on the field, and that was the main point of what they were telling me is how do we get you on the field? Special teams, being a scout team player is the biggest thing. So in the fall I redshirted, and then I did a lot of scout team, and doing just a lot of scout team. Just they didn't look at it during the season, they got game plan things like that, but postseason they look at that. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's what a lot of college players don't get, especially their freshman year. That's what I didn't understand this year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's good, man. There's always be learning, always be closing, always be aware of what you can do better. And you definitely personify that and are doing that. And that's the right attitude to have. I'm glad you appreciate the time you have in college and what you're part of, because like I told Amare, not told him, but we were talking about it in his segment, D1, D2, D3. A lot of people, as you realize, are still walking around Exxon, Georgetown South, Pointed Woods, and 234 that were just as good, some even better than you, that didn't take advantage, didn't work hard. That's not to take shots at them. It's just that, there's a sacrifice that you and Amare and guys like Jigga and other players and Nick have done to put yourself in position, whether it's JUCO, D1, D2, D3. I think also, too, you had, one thing I love about you is you have real perspective about the level of player you are and how you can still be great. I think getting better is very important, where some guys peak. And that's the disappointing thing about coaching. Some guys could be better, but they're okay with being great at 11 years old. And
Yeah.
you have to always get better. We're pretty much done. I do want to ask you this, man. Are there some coaches along the way, from whether youth league at Osbourn, whatever, even all-star teams you on, that you just want to shout out or show some love to your legacy podcast? Anybody that you remember that you didn't love before, but you love them now, or you always appreciate? Any coaches come to mind?
Shout out Coach Gibson.
Okay.
Got the rec. Shout out Coach Van. He was my AAU coach for basketball. Shout out Coach Peterson for sure. You unrivaled.
Uh-oh.
Who else? I know I'm missing names. There's got to be names I'm missing. Coach Maudlin. Shout out D coordinator from Osbourn.
Yeah, I know Marlon.
Damn, who else? Honestly, if you coach, shout out to you, because as a coach, y'all made me into the person I am today. But those four that I just named, real shout out to you, and shout out to you too, Coach Vic.
Thank you. That means a lot. You about to give me emotion. You and Amare both gave me shout outs tonight, man. I am so thankful for that, and I'm proud of you. I'm glad I can be part of your village, man. Seeing you both and other guys like yourselves make me very, very proud. You mentioned the rec. Listen, me and my son talk all the time. Those years at the rec, first time I saw your dad, he used to wear the Clippers hat facing forward, like Memphis Bleak, all high on his head. And after he would go out and smoke a cigarette in front of the rec. I ain't think you was supposed to even smoke out there, but your dad was out there smoking a cig. And you guys had some great teams, and the players that have come through the rec the last several years, especially during that time when y'all were little, a lot of great players, man. The rec was where it was at back then. I mean, it's still going strong now, but I joke, but I'm kind of serious. I might mess around and do a documentary on that, man, because you look at you and all the guys that's in college now, then you got the class of 24s and even the 22s. Those 3-4 years, some special talent. We'll end it with this. Quentin, I want you to share this for the younger people that may see this, or that when I do my clips, I like to get clips after I run a podcast. Tell what advice do you have for the kids and young men and young women, not just athletes, but are going through something, trying to find their way? Because growing up can be very, rewarding. You come from a phenomenal family, but everyone doesn't have that, which is why your mom and dad have been parents to so many people in Manassas City. What do you tell people that really want to give up right now, that want to quit, that's going through it, that feel like, man, our team is terrible, or I don't have what they have at this school, or, I don't have my dad? I know that's a tough question, but in your own words, because you have a spirit about you where you never complain. You keep working, you keep grinding. Everyone ain't built like that. So what advice do you have to tell people to keep grinding and stay forward? What advice do you have you want to give them?
Comparison kills your happiness. And, I call myself comparing myself to other players, comparing schools even. I was just like, okay, like I'm not in the best situation, or I'm getting only D3 looks, or you can't think like that. You got to be happy with what's yours, and really own it, and then really take pride in it. And once you do that, I feel like everything kind of, sits in place. And then once that happens, man, it's just smooth sailing. Just, I don't know. I think that's the best thing that I've done for myself during this process, is really just stay in my own lane, try not to veer off and look in other people's lanes, because, that's how you crash.
Yeah, gosh, that's powerful. That's what we call real talk, man. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, man. Great information, wise words from Quentin Davis, man. This has been a lot of fun. Quentin, I want to thank you and your family. I know this was a last-minute addition, but, I meant to tell you and talk to you about it yesterday when I saw you up in Woodbridge. So I appreciate you. Before we sign off, man, I want to remind everybody, please continue to support our youth, continue to address mental health in appropriate ways, seek out help. Also, make sure you subscribe to this channel, Vicktory Life, on YouTube. Also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, we're everywhere, Facebook. Subscribe. We got great interviews like we have today, another episode, man. And Again, Quentin, I'm proud of you, man. Like I say, every episode, man, no matter where you go, no matter what you do, make sure you have a positive impact and you leave a great legacy. I'm your host, Dwight Vick, founder of Vicktory Life and owner. It's Quentin Davis, Frostburg, linebacker / D lineman. Thank you all for tuning in. We will see you on the next time around. Appreciate you. There you go.
Thank you.